Morning, guys. I'm still out in La Palma here. I've got 4 more days of training left here, and then back to the UK. I'm just trying to kill a bit of time here, and I thought it'd be interesting to put together a video about my first race in Croatia. That's just under 2 weeks' time now. So it's a 69k race with 2,300 meters of climbing. So pretty much nearly double, or just under double, what Beachy Head was, which was my first trail race, which I won last year. The kind of profile of the races is like 6 main climbs. They're all like between 200 to 400 meters, and their gradients are like 12 to 15% or 17% average. So they're quite steep going. Just looking at the results from last year, the race was won in 5:19 by a couple of ASICS pros, which is 4:38 average per K, not grade adjusted obviously. And for that they achieved quite a high UTMB index score of 891, which I'll come back to later on in the video. The third place was a British guy who did it in 5 hours 38, an average pace of 4:54, and that achieved an 842 index score. And just looking at the elite entries for this year, there's currently 5 elite runners listed on UTMB's site, all with results of index scores over 850. So I think that is a stronger lineup than last year, just looking at the results at least, because there's 5 guys that have a higher score than the third place guy from last year. So that's kind of the overview of the race. Just on Croatia, it's going to be fairly warm. I think it's going to be 15 to 20 degrees, possibly, if it's a sunny day. Which helps because I kind of had a bit of heat training at similar temperatures to out here. Just before I go into kind of the goals of the race, I'll just say how my training's been going. So yesterday I was a bit bored. It was tipping it down raining here, and I was just thinking of how much I progressed in 9 months, because basically I look back, it was 9 months ago roughly. I thought, let's get fit, let's see what I can do at Beachy Head. And that was my first trail race. So kind of, with the wonders of Strava, you can just look back at your old workouts and kind of found 2 similar ones from running around London and around like Hyde Park and stuff like that. So the first one was like a 15k run at an average pace of 4:35. And for that I had an average heart rate of 159. So 159 now would be, for me, should be my first threshold, kind of around marathon pace heart rate, I would have thought, maybe just below it. And then the second workout 9 months later, which was a few weeks ago, was 20k, again around London, a bit around Hyde Park, and that was an average pace of 4:21, an average heart rate of 139. So I've basically done 5 extra K, 6 seconds per K faster at 20 beats per minute less heart rate, which I found quite interesting. So it shows that I'm massively more efficient and kind of run faster at a low heart rate in 9 months. So I found that really interesting actually. And then generally just kind of comparing my fitness now back to Beachy Head. For Beachy Head, I didn't really have much chance to do too many specific workouts because I had massive tendonitis in my right Achilles, which meant I could kind of just get by doing lots of long, slow stuff, but I was a bit nervous about doing anything kind of fast and powerful through it. If I kind of compare my fitness to then, I definitely think I'm in PB shape. Through the winter, I've kind of been doing most of my sessions on the treadmill, which is a little bit harder to know if it's actually true fitness. But some of my threshold workouts, I've just been seeing like pretty remarkable threshold numbers and heart rates on the treadmill, which could be a few things. I mean, it could just be that the calibration's way off. Although I do wear my foot pods, which kind of line up to the paces which it's saying I'm doing. But yeah, I haven't really had a chance to do too much outside to kind of prove that fitness, and I've not had a race to confirm it yet, so it's kind of a little bit of an unknown. I'm seeing great numbers, way above what I think I could have done at Beachy Head. I've just not been able to put it together in a race. So I was meant to do Eastbourne half marathon, but then I got like a chesty cough like 2 days out, so that was pretty annoying. And just looking back at some of my old PBs, like my 5k PB is 16:30, and I was doing a session on a treadmill the other day at threshold 4 times 5k. I could do the first 5k in 16:25, second, and then the next 3 5ks at 16:40. So clearly, if that's an indication, I'm much faster than kind of my 5k PB and probably my Beachy Head fitness. In terms of other things, how my training's going, I still had like niggles. I mean, my right Achilles, I just can't find a solution for it at the moment. It's not a lack of strength in my calves or anything. It's just the tendon, just especially when I run on uneven surfaces, it gets inflamed quite easily. Well, not quite easily, but it just gets inflamed because I do quite a high volume as well. It was getting better, but I think that's kind of a mix of me continually trying to strengthen it and doing lots of treadmill workouts and flat surfaces workouts. But whilst I was out here in La Palma, and last time I was out in La Palma, I did flare up when I went on the trails more, because they're quite rugged out here. So that is a worry. Hopefully in my taper, with the reduced volume, it goes down. That's what happened for Beachy Head, because about 9 days out I still had pretty bad Achilles tendonitis, but then the reduction in volume cleaned it up for the race. And then I had a little niggle 2 days ago here in my shin, but that kind of went, which is good. Kind of was really painful at night, and I woke up in the morning, it had gone. And then just the last thing on training was that I had a session yesterday which I had to bail out of, which is the first time I've ever had to do that, I think, since I've kind of started this 9-month training. Kind of when I started, I just don't know what was up. I just didn't have the power, or just didn't have the fight in me. I don't know what it was. Just felt absolutely fucked, to be honest, which was weird. I don't know why. It was hot, but I'd done that same workout a week before and did a massive session with it, so I don't know what was happening there really. So that's slightly worrying. The goals for the race, I think I mentioned it in the last video, is basically to come top 3 outside of the elites. So I think UTMB classify elites as maybe over 850 or definitely over 800, and that UTMB index score. I think my Beachy Head performance would have been between 750 and 800, probably about 775. If you kind of remove me going the wrong direction and a better weather day, maybe closer to 800. So yeah, I think that would be good enough to probably put me top 3 out of the elites, outside of the elites. I guess another goal for the race is maybe if I'm having a good day and one of them's having a bad day, elites, then to beat one of them at least. The dream goal would obviously be to get an index score above 830, or to place top 3, including the elites, that is, because that would get me an elite entry into the finals in Chamonix. So yeah, if I could either come like, I don't know, 6th, but somehow get an 830, I'd be really happy with that. The other 2 goals, obviously, just to enjoy it. This is my first race at the distance. who knows what can happen. And then the last one is not to get injured or cramp. I mean, I think I cramped after 20k in Beachy Head, or 25k, so that's worrying when you've got to do 70k. How will I run the race? So I guess the advantage of not being a favourite or knowing that there's better runners than you can just run your own race. So what I'll try and do is I'll try and stick with them initially, but if the climbing pace is too hot for me, which I think it will be, I'll just let them go and just try and stick to a heart rate which I think I can sustain over the distance, which I think for me is going to be trying to stay under 165 for large periods of the race. I mean, going up some of the climbs, nearly to the end of the climb, I think I'll be over 165, but in general, to try and stay below that, that's pretty much slap in the middle between my two thresholds. And then, so if I just let them go, I think I'll just try and save energy for that final 25k, because in the race it's all downhill, the last 25k. So if I just let them go, and then maybe I'm having a better day and a few of them are having bad days, I can kind of catch him up in the last 25k. So yeah, that's the goal. That's how I'm going to run it. Guess, there's no pressure for me in this race really. Obviously I want to do well because I put a pretty big block into it, but knowing that there's just better runners than me, more talented runners at least, kind of takes some pressure off, because Beachy, I knew that I was kind of most likely the best on the start line, assuming that there was just literally no one else, no pros were going to turn up pretty much. So I knew I was the best. That meant put a bit of pressure on me to win it really, whereas this I don't have any pressure at all. Then finally just like the taper. So I am used to quite high volume, and I do feel like I freshen up quite quick. So I think we're like 12 days out now. I want to get one more decent hard workout in, which will either be tomorrow or most likely Wednesday. And that will be my last big workout, I would say. And that would be like 11 or 10 days out, I think. And from there out, I'll keep quality sessions, but I'll just massively reduce the length of them and how much climbing. And I probably won't do any climbing in the last 5 days, I would have thought, before the race, just to freshen up even more. So that's the kind of the overview of the race, my plans, the goals, and how I'll run it. The work's been done now. Just hope I just don't cramp up. So I'm really looking forward to it actually. I just want to get it done now. So maybe I'll do a video after of how it went and a race recap and something like that. So hope your training's going well. If you've got any questions, just whack them in the comments below, or just give the video a like if you liked it. So